All right, air sealing.
I'm showing in all the pictures, Matt.
Y'all had air sealing, didn't you?
Moves in.
It's
But
the
costing,
best, that's the best
but
thing.
can you,
So air sealing, page 91.
if it's costing,
I think the thing I just really see most is there's usually at least 50 to 100 CFM leakage in just a return, just the way it's boxed in like that.
Right, yep, absolutely.
Most of the other stuff though, one thing that I think, well, this is kind of framing though, is when it's talking about the ceiling, windows and everything like that, is that on your headers, rather than, using your big header there, you're losing all your insulation if you just put your header on, caulk it, that's great, but if you don't put any kind of, like, if you were to put some kind of half-inch rigid insulation in between that, then you're not gonna lose your air sealing there.
I agree with you on that one. You take off that grill and it's like,
Yeah, and then
someone didn't know how to cut drywall when they put that in.
And he hammered in the air sealing between the garage and the house.
Yep.
Because at this point, we've just got sheetrock on both sides of that wall, but Robert was saying we need an air barrier on the exterior of that wall attached to the garage.
Yep. Very sad story. About 2 years ago in North Carolina, they had a remote starter on their car and they accidentally hit it. And that when their garage was closed, and that carbon monoxide leaked into their house and ended up killing them. It probably wasn't sealed up very well between their garage and their house if that could get in. The first thing is that a lot of the details, the air sealing details that we're talking about, so can anyone tell me what the air barrier is?
thermal boundaries.
Give me a little bit more. I know there's more in there.
Like what it is regarding material, or
Well, what does the air barrier do?
seals the air, pollutants and odors and dust from the outside.
Yeah.
Condition between condition and non-condition.
Yep, exactly. So think about the air barrier as a windbreaker. The air barrier is going to keep that unconditioned air out. Anything that you heat and cool inside the space is going to stay inside. Do you stay warm by just wearing a windbreaker? No. Nope, you sure don't. So what do you usually add to a windbreaker in order to stay warm? What type of jacket? What would you layer?
Sweater, sweatshirt, something along those lines.
Fleece. Yeah, so how many of y'all have a North Face jacket, or maybe has a child who has coveted a North Face jacket or something like that? 2 layers. They have the fleece and then they have the windbreaker over it. That's exactly how the building envelope works in a house. You have to have both those layers, and they actually need to be touching together in order to work. So the air barrier is one thing that specifically gets to all these air sealing details, making sure that those are all in place in order to keep that air in. So why do we need to plan for this? Can't we just make sure we seal all of the holes? Just seal all the holes. It's that easy, right? So let's think about this. Okay, we've got a house here, and we're looking at a section of the house. We essentially cut the house in half, and we're standing like looking in there, and we're like, okay, we've got a hallway right here. We've got a bedroom. We've got our attic space up here. We've got our garage over here. So the question is where is this building envelope where we need to make sure that this air barrier is all sealed and that our thermal, that our insulation is installed? And this one's pretty easy. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's a blue line that draws a box around it. It shows you that sort of box of, this is where you need to seal. This is where, whether you're the air sealer or whether you're a trade, that if you're drilling a hole through that wall, you need to seal it up after you're done. So this is another thing here. So we've got the porch, we've got the living room, kitchen, family, all that type of stuff. Same sort of thing. Pretty simple, straightforward, a box. This is easy. Do we really need to point this out on plans? Probably not. Everyone should know sort of, okay, I've got the porch out here. Well, we're not trying to heat the porch, so I need to make sure that I seal up on this wall and this wall. And this is just another way to look at it too, thinking about not only in plan, but in, elevation, where is my air barrier going to be? And this can just help get everyone on the same page. There's this debate, and we had this debate in the last class too, of where is the air barrier? It depends. So I take the belt and suspenders approach. Seal up all your penetrations on that exterior wall where the sheathing is. Make sure that's all sealed up. That can essentially be your air barrier at that point because you're sealing everything up. In certain cases, for example, with the attic, your air barrier is going to be your drywall, right? Because there's nothing else there. It's just that drywall. Same with the subfloor. But with the walls, it's like there's the sheathing and then there's the drywall. So it could be the drywall, as long as the drywall is sealed up perfectly, or it could be the exterior sheathing. Now, code requires you to do a bunch of sealing of that exterior sheathing anyway, so it's like just go ahead and seal it all up, and then it doesn't matter whether you're counting the drywall as it or you're counting the exterior sheathing. You're just good to go at that point. Boots need to be sealed to the drywall. This is both the return and supply boots. This all needs to be sealed. This is one of those things where it's a matter of who's going to do the sealing. You mentioned whoever puts the grill up, whoever cuts the hole in the drywall. It doesn't matter, but someone needs to be designated to do it, and they need to be told that they're doing it. This was in New Orleans. This is what I saw in New Orleans. So
That's not uncommon. I've crawled under hundreds of houses here in Arkansas. I mean, as soon as you open up that scuttle hole door, you just feel it in your face. There is a disconnected duct. Thank you. Poor workmanship. This is going to be a good day in August for the plumber. Because we're crawling into a dry crawl space.
yeah.